Hey guys, this is Rocksign84 here, and today I wanted to share a video on how to perform a basic takedown and maintenance on your AK style rifle. These rifles are very easy to take apart and maintain, as well as being a pleasure to own and shoot. Some things you'll want to have on hand before you get started are your choice of gun oil, good scrubbing toothbrush, a set of cleaning rods or a bore snake, 30 caliber bore snake, a small jeweler's screwdriver are very handy for getting lots of carbon buildup off, and a set of rags like an old t-shirt or sock work really well. Alright, we'll go ahead and begin by clearing the rifle. First thing you want to do is remove the magazine. Move your safety lever from safe to fire and pull the bolt to the rear, ejecting any round that may be present and observing within the chamber to make sure that no round is present inside. Next, we'll depress this button back here by the dust cover, lifting upwards and to the rear, and the dust cover should come right off. We're going to push in on the recoil assembly here and then upwards, and it should slide right out. We're going to pull the bolt and bolt cable to the rear. Once you have this out, you can turn downwards on the bolt and then forwards, and the bolt should separate from the bolt carrier. And for removing the gas tube, what we're going to do is on this lever right here, and with this slot right back here on the rear of the bolt carrier, we're going to line those right up and rotate upwards, and the gas tube should come right off. Alright, once we have everything disassembled, I like to come through with my toothbrush, dip it in a little bit of gun oil, and we're going to scrub in here on the sides really well, everything all around the sides. We're going to release the hammer here by depressing it a little bit with our thumb and then push in on the trigger and lift it up here. You want to scrub back here really well, and on your disconnector and trigger assembly in here. It's always good to get a little bit of oil in here. Also, in here inside of the gas tube block, up here, and this part of the trunnion can get really bad with carbon buildup. Like I said, if you have any really bad carbon buildup, a jeweler's screwdriver works really well to scrape that off. On your bolt here, you're going to want to clean right in here really well, and all around here. This area is going to get a lot of carbon buildup in it. Also on the bolt carrier, right in here is going to get really bad. You want to scrub that really well, and all along here. Once I've scrubbed everything down really well, I'll come back with a cleaning rod and my thin rag and scrub that well, getting into any tight spots. You can also use a Q-tip, that works really well. And then to remove any excess oil afterwards, I'll come back through with a sock or a thicker type of cloth. They work really well for soaking up the oil. You want to leave a thin coat on everything, but not too much. If you leave too much, it's going to attract a lot of dust and other stuff. So anyway, once you've got a really good cleaning done on it and a nice thin coat of oil, you can go ahead and start with the reassembly. Before you start, it's always a good idea to press the hammer back down so you don't forget, or you won't be able to get the bolt carrier inside. Now we're going to take our gas tube. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, for the barrel. If you have a 30 caliber bore snake, You can put a little bit of oil on the tip and run it through, or you can run a little bit of solvent through and then some oil afterwards. Especially if you're shooting corrosive ammo, you want to try and clean your barrel as often as possible. But otherwise, it's just a good idea to run it through and look inside and make sure that you're not getting any buildup inside of there. But anyway, back to the reassembly. We're going to take our gas tube here, push the forward end right in here, and then it'll drop down. If you can't get this down with your thumbs, you can use the bolt carrier again. Like I said, this little groove right here works really well for that part. Next, we're gonna let's reassemble our bolt and bolt carrier. You're gonna want to push this small end here in this hole with this groove right here. The groove right here on the top should come in and then turn downwards. Once you get it in, you'll rotate it back up, and then it should stay in this little channel right here, like that. When you reassemble this, make sure that you have it a little bit forward, because if not, if this back end is sticking out, it won't be able to go. It won't be able to go in the rifle. So go ahead and drop this in. Take the front end of the piston here and go in here in the gas tube. Once you get it here, you're going to press it down. You'll see these guides on the side when you drop it in, and then you'll go right forward like that. Next, we'll drop in our recoil assembly here. It goes in this small hole right here on the back of the bolt carrier. Alright, then our dust cover. You'll line up this rounded part here with the back end of your trunnion going in at an angle like this. Then once you get it on there, just press down and it should pop right on. I've heard that some rifles it can be a little trickier, but anyway, once you have it reassembled, you can go ahead and do a basic functions test on it. So what we'll go ahead and do is pull the bolt to the rear, make sure, like I said, the hammer should be reset at this point. We're going to hold down on our trigger, and while holding down on the trigger, pull the bolt to the rear and release. And whenever after you let it go forward, release the trigger, and you should hear that popping sound, and that should mean that your rifle should be good to go. So anyway, that was it. This is Rocketson84 signing out. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and upvote. Thanks.